Alright, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. My beautiful people, I hope that everyone is doing well. This is our brand new initiative, the webinars by our Muslim life coaches, graduates of International Association of Muslim Life Coaches, or the parts or the members of International Association of Muslim Life Coaches and graduate of our Islamically integrated life coaching program. All right, I am a bit intimidated. This is one of the component of a very big dream that we have seen together, and I just wanted to take this opportunity myself to be on board to be able to introduce this entire concept to everyone who is online. If you know anyone who has committed to be online, please feel free to call them. This is not limited to women. We welcome our brothers as well. And yeah, if you know anyone who can be a part of it, who can benefit from it, please feel free to share the link directly. And that's where I'll just take a couple of minutes before the speaker takes the stage to introduce this or International Association of Muslim Life Coaches. And I'll tell you a little bit of history, right? Why this International Association of Muslim Life Coaches? My name is Bela Khan. I'm a therapist by profession, and I'm also serving as assistant professor of psychology at International Open University. So, in my therapeutic settings, I found that not everyone who comes to therapy needs therapy, right? So, therapy is for people who are battling with mental health conditions, but sometimes people come to therapy because they have relationship issues, right? So, parents are not doing well with children, children are not doing well with parents, children struggling in their classes, simple life issues, as I call them. So, is an intense therapy needed here? The simple answer was no. They are normal people with life struggles, with life challenges, right? And life throws its struggles at every single one of us. So, what happened? Uh, I realized, as it's not just me, I think most of the therapists who are intensely into their field and genuinely working for the betterment of humanity, they would realize that no, everyone who's coming into therapeutic setting does not need therapy. If not, then what else? This question took me to life coaching, right? I did a lot of life coaching certification from West, and I learned a lot. I learned a great deal. I would not hide, or I would not be ashamed to share the fact that they had a lot to teach me. However, there were major problems that I identified in their models, right? It was very secular, for the lack of a better word. I sometimes jokingly call it secularisis, right? So, too much secular aspect, so much so that God is irrelevant in Western models, right? Faith is has nothing to do in a therapeutic setting. Spirituality, yeah, good enough. It's your personal matter. Genuine care and concern was there, but to what extent? So these questions, they made me understand that although Western coaching model is an answer to something that human needs apart from therapy, this is not it. We need something else. And that's where we sat together, some of us, and we came up with the idea of Islamically integrated life coaching. It was over 10 years ago. And uh, what's different? God is central. Your faith is central. The coachee relationship is instrumental in healing and bringing genuine change. Your spirituality matters, right? So that's where Islamically integrated life coaching came in. Alhamdulillah, we have launched this program in English, which is hosted by Solace, in Urdu, and inshallah, we're going to be launching in German and Arabic very soon. We request you to be a part of it. We have more than 150 graduates working in almost all continents of the world, apart from Antarctica. Okay, you know what I'm saying. And more than 500 graduates in Urdu program. And inshallah, our admin at some point will share the details in the chat box of our social media platforms that you can join. They will also share the link of the new batch or the new intake that we will be or the next batch that we will be taking in after Ramadan, inshallah. So that's it. We have like amazing group of people who are on board with us, who are the graduates of life coaching course, and that's where we identified that how much they can contribute to the society, to the ummah, and that's where we started this series. Inshallah, you will get a chance to benefit from their expertise completely for free. Reach out to them if you need the kind of coaching that they are offering. And yeah, together we can make a difference. So, one of my personal favorite, Farah Salim, is with us. She's the founder of Nurture and Bloom Coaching Services in Dubai, for as a certified kids life coach. And I would definitely like to add that my own kids have benefited from her program. My son, who was very hard to make, the kind of people you cannot make them sit anywhere, so he was sitting with Farah and took this course with her. She's also a women's life coach, and she blends modern psychology with Islamic psychology to support children and families in building emotional intelligence, resilience, and inner well being through preventative, heart centered, play based work. And she's also a mother of three herself, which deeply informs her compassionate, real world approach. Thank you very much for being with us, Farah. I'll pass the baton to you. Thank you very much, everyone. Bismillah, Farah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair, Sister Bella. Being your student and yes, learning under you has been an immense pleasure as well as a great opportunity for me, Alhamdulillah. And I really thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this uh, place that He has put me in today and the roads that are opening. So I'll just quickly share my screen with everybody and we'll take it from there, inshallah. Okay, so I hope my screen is clear to everybody and my voice as well. Okay, so like Sister Bella mentioned, that I'm a life coach specializing specially for children. And today I've come here on this platform to speak about why children need emotional coaching in today's world. So, before we begin with anything, I just want all of us to get comfortable in their chairs or on their sofas or wherever they are sitting. Take a deep breath in, breathe out through your mouth. Bring your focus and attention here with me. And now, while we're at this, I would love to have you all imagine a picture of your child, not as a student, not as a report card, not as a responsibility. Just your child, as he or she is. Now picture them when they come back from school at the end of a long day. Shoes half off, bag dropped by the door, their body tired. Their emotions are spilling out, and in ways that don't always make sense. Their face, imagine their face when they're extremely exhausted, the way their tone changes when they feel misunderstood, the moments they withdraw or overreact, or suddenly go very quiet. Many parents come to spaces like this not because something is wrong, But because a quieter thought, which is that this picture, this image, keeps returning to them, that externally my child might be doing fine, but is my child really coping? Now, this question matters and it deserves an honest conversation. Now, let's keep this image in our head as we move along and understand what I'm here to explain and to discuss with all of you. You know, parents often begin by telling me how well their child is doing. They're smart, they're kind, they behave well, they're managing academically very well. And then, very softly, a voice whispers out, and they mention the parts that worry them, that their child gets overwhelmed easily. Emotions come out suddenly or they just disappear, like it becomes a blank face. Small challenges also feel very big for them and they're not able to handle it. And their confidence seems to disappear very quickly. Now, these are some of the things that the parents notice, mention to me, but very quietly, very silently, very hesitantly, wondering if is this something I should be considering, something I should be focusing about? So let me say this very clearly that as parents, we're not failing. And it is not because schools are also failing your child. It is because today children are growing up in a world that places emotional demands on them without teaching emotional skills. We expect emotional regulation from brains that are still wiring it. So, the level of expectation that we have or the world has from our children today is that of how you would expect from an adult. And their brains are still developing, brains are still wiring, still learning, but our expectations have increased. So, what exactly is missing over here? The emotional skills. Children today are expected to adapt quickly, to perform well, to socialize with whoever is around them, to self regulate, to be resilient, which is to bounce back quickly, and to cope up easily. The world that they are living in, that they are navigating, is very fast. It has become loud. There is a lot of comparison happening amongst siblings, amongst neighbors' kids, with extended family, with children within the school setting as well. And all of this is very emotionally demanding. It's not just about performing academically. It's how your child is performing even in a social setup. And just a reminder there that all of this with a brain which is still not prepared, which is still not ready, which is still learning. Now, like I said, they're still developing. They are surrounded by constant comparison. So it is adult expectations which they have to fulfill, but their coping tools are almost child level or even below. So when big emotions show up, now by big emotions, I mean fear, frustration, sadness, anger. It is really not a discipline issue. We feel that, oh, my child is not disciplined enough. But all of these big emotions are not because of a discipline issue. It is a skills gap, skills that we haven't been able to teach our children, skills that we haven't been able to mm, uh, display to our children because children look and learn more. So somewhere we aren't able to portray those skills, which is why they aren't able to grasp it as well. So our children are not too sensitive. They are often under supported emotionally. Let me share a moment that often comes up in my work. A mother once said to me, "My daughter is such a good child. She never causes any trouble. Her teachers love her in school. She's doing extremely well in class. There are no complaints overall from where she is concerned. She's very disciplined in things doing when it's concerned to be doing at home as well. I just have to tell her once, and she's doing it. The chores that are assigned to her, she does them fine. I don't have to constantly remind her. I don't have to be behind her." And then she becomes quiet. The mother becomes quiet after saying all of this. And then she says, "But every morning her stomach hurts. She has stomach pain. And every night she cries if she makes a small mistake. She cries about it. And she keeps asking me, what if I fail?" Now, can you see on the outside, she's been thriving. Her marks are good, behavior is fine, everybody loves her, she's doing all the things that are needed. But on the inside, her nervous system was living in quiet pressure. Now, sometimes that stomach pain could look like her being dramatic or just not wanting to go to school. But honestly, is that really the case? Is that really how it is? She was emotionally carrying more than she knew how to hold. And sometimes, or most often, this is what we miss as parents because we're not able to differentiate. We think it's because of their age, or it's just a child thing, or they just creating a problem or making life difficult. These are the thoughts that come to our heads. But in honesty, this child who isn't disruptive is actually very dysregulated from inside. They may not be failing, but they're extremely frightened. They're extremely scared because just the thought of failure scares them, makes them cry. They seem to be doing well. That's how it shows up. That's what we see on the outside. But constantly inside them, they are fighting a battle, which is why I come up with this topic and the title of our talk today, that beyond academics, why academic is not alone enough. Because academics train the mind, but life tests something more deeper. A child can succeed in school and do great in school, But at the same time, that same child can still fear failure intensely. They can shut down under pressure. They can start speaking harshly to themselves. Their self talk is very critical, very harsh. They avoid challenges and they may be struggling deeply within their relationships. So, academics is more about knowledge, performance, grades, and life is about everything apart from that. That's academics is a small portion or one portion of our life. And in life, if we're not able to handle our emotions, our pressure, academics will not push us forward, will not help us sustain. Academics can only sustain when your emotions, when your pressure, when your life skills are at its, when you're trained in your life skills, when you have the right tools with you. That is when your academics will also support you. So there is more to life beyond your academics. I'm not negating the fact or I'm not pushing away the fact that it is not an important part of your life. Obviously, with knowledge, with information, we are able to grow and become a better person or a better human. But life does not revolve just around that. It is a complete balance of everything that makes your life complete or a life whole. So, academics, your report card that we see does not talk about anxiety, self talk, emotional regulation, social confidence, resilience. These are not mentioned on the report card. Report card will just tell you the grades, maybe a little bit about their behavior in class or how they interact with other students. It might mention a little bit of that, but that's not the entire focus, or that's not a major part. The major part is the focus is mainly on the marks, the grades, and their submissions. So, academic success without emotional safety does not equal to well being. And when emotional skills aren't taught early, children do not outgrow the struggle, they internalize it. Now, what do I mean by internalize it? They 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 press it in inside them. They hide it inside them. They do not verbalize it. They do not show it on the outward. But inside their body, inside their mind, a lot of a lot is going on. So they won't become calm, but they might behave like wanting to control everything. When their confidence levels will drop, they they don't work, they just become very careful. Is this right? Is this okay? Am I doing okay? These are the constant questions badgering in their heads, going on again and again. And we think if they are faced with harsh conditions, it will make them resilient. But no, it makes them avoidant. Means they want to run away from those situations. They want to hide away in a corner, find a safe space where they feel they can shut everybody out. And you know what? This quietly follows them into adolescence and adulthood. Now, I want you to look around and think maybe this could be us as well. How many of us are emotionally regulated? How many of us are aware about what's happening inside us? How many of us are able to talk with our own self with love and care? Think about it. So, most children, and that includes us as well, we were never explicitly taught how to name what we are feeling, what triggers our reactions, how to calm my body when emotions rise, how my thoughts are influencing my feelings, and how can I respond rather than react? Because reactions are often loud, reactions are often not thought about, and reactions often create a lot of negativity, a lot of misunderstandings because you don't think before reacting. If you think before an action, you are responding to a situation. So ask yourself, who taught us as adults, who taught us these skills? Did we learn it in our childhood? If we did, then barakallahu fiqh to all of those who were able to learn these in their childhood. But as far as what I have seen, what little I know, what little I have seen and I'm exploring, most of us have learned through trial and error, through pain, through broken communications. A lot of us have come into adulthood and done a lot of unlearning of things which were wrong. A very small example, it might be a little out of topic, but because I said life, we learned a lot of stuff later on in life and had to do a lot of unlearning. It just reminds me that as a child, I always remember that I was taught that there are good feelings, good emotions, bad emotions. So, anger, jealousy was classified as bad emotion or a negative emotion, and happy, uh, joy, all of this were the good emotions. But you know what? There are no good or bad emotions because emotions are just messengers. Emotions just tell you what your body is feeling. How you act on those emotions is what makes it good or bad. So if you're feeling angry, that is your body telling you that something has not happened right. Look into it. But instead of reading that message, I just feel the anger and I go and hit somebody. For example, my behavior of hitting is what makes it bad. My anger did not ask me to go and hit. My anger was just giving me a notification, just like how we get notifications in our mobiles. A WhatsApp notification, somebody has sent you a message. So, emotion is your body giving you notification that you know what, you're feeling angry. Look into it. What is the situation? Has a boundary been crossed? Something which is against the ruling of Islam or our deen, has that happened, which is why you're being angry or feeling angry? So, this is just something I had to unlearn and constantly remind myself that my emotions are not good or bad. All my emotions are okay, all my emotions are fine. And I'm sure many of you can relate with this, that even you thought, maybe even until now, that the emotions are good and bad. So, this is something we teach our children as well. So, the skills no one taught them. One was naming the feelings, how to calm the body when you feel that way, understand what triggers it, what causes it, and how to respond and not react. So now what happens is that children cope or the way that they the only way that they know how to. So some end up becoming people pleasers, some become self critical, some withdraw, and some children might act out in public places or in front of other people. And they don't do this because they're being difficult. They do this because they are trying to survive emotional experiences without having the right tools. And this brings us to something important that we don't often talk about. In trying to prepare children for the world, for the fast-paced world that we are living in, what I like sometimes calling it the rat race, we have slowly taken away the very thing that helped our children to cope with, which is play. Not structured activities, not screens, not tightly scheduled enrichment, but real play. The kind where there is no outcome to impress anybody, no performance to measure, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. All our children today are very busy. They really don't have time. To be honest, their schedules are full. But internally, they are not at all deeply nourished. And there's nothing wrong in that. But the thing is, they are losing out on developing the right way. Because their nervous system is not getting a chance to rest. When play disappears, something very essential goes missing with it, which is emotional release, creativity, self regulation, joy. Now, play for us, we feel sometimes, is just a break that the children need, which we allot maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes. And in that play, also, sometimes we encourage our children be productive in your play. Do something meaningful while you're playing. Many of us must be saying something like this to our children. But you know what? That unstructured play actually teaches a lot. That unstructured play is highly, highly important for their emotional development, which is why compare children of today's time, of, of these couple of years, and the times of our grandparents or our great grandparents, the children of those times and the children of today's time. Most of us often say na, ki it is children of the older generations never knew the meaning of stress. We never heard the word stress from them. But today, even a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old, you will hear them saying, "Oh, I'm feeling stressed. Oh, I'm feeling this." This is not just, they could be sometimes times where they're using this because it's the sort of becoming like a trend, but deep down, honestly speaking, they are feeling it. You know why? Because real, organic, unstructured play, which is their language, has been removed from their schedules. For children, play is not a break from learning. Play itself is learning. It is how children process emotions because they don't have words for it. They rehearse social situations safely. What do I mean by this? You know, the role plays our children do. If you notice your child playing with dolls or a kitchen set, you will oftentimes see them talking to themselves and enacting out that, oh, this is a class, or for example, a classroom. So, this is a classroom, I am the teacher, these dolls are my students, and they will copy exactly how the teacher speaks in class. They will copy whatever happened in the class that day in their play. And that is not just copying, I would like to say that in inverted commas, that they're just copying their child. That is them rehearsing that situation to process it, to understand it, to release the stress stored in their body. Play makes them help make sense of their inner world. Now, as adults, when we feel angry or sad, we like to talk to our loved ones, right? So that is how we walk through our emotions, or that's how we process our emotions. But these children, they don't have the language for that, they don't have the words for that. So they play it out. When a child builds, draws, does role plays, they are communicating. So it's not happening in adult language, but that's child language, which is play. And when we remove this play, I'm constantly repeating play, but please understand that play is unstructured play, organic play, where there are no rules, no right, no wrong. It just goes with the flow. So when you remove this, you're removing one of their most natural emotional languages. So today, when we go back and see our children asking us for more time to play, look into the situation and think maybe they are emotionally overwhelmed and they need that little bit extra time to regulate themselves. Now, as we move forward, this brings me to that topic when I said that children feel safe, they bring down their defenses. Their learning and their confidence increases. That is why play-based emotional coaching matters. In play-based spaces, children are not interrogated, they're not questioned, they're not analyzed or worked on. They explore their fears, express their anger, practice confidence, and experiment with choices. So, play lowers their defenses, and when your defenses are down, your learning, your confidence increases. So, children will never resist to growth, will never resist to learning. They resist to pressure. When you remove the pressure, everything becomes easier. Now, again, we are already living in a world which is so highly pressured. So, that is why we talk about emotional coaching. And when we speak about what really is emotional coaching. So now, when parents hear the word coaching, they often wonder, is this therapy? Is there something wrong with my child? So I'd like to say and explain to everybody that emotional coaching is very gentle, very proactive, neuroscience informed, skill building, and preventative. So it is not really therapy. It is not labeling your children or giving them any tags. And we're definitely not fixing children. We are just strengthening what is already there before struggles become crisis. So instead of them melting down, they learn how to regulate. They learn how to approach instead of avoiding and running away from a situation. And they build their own inner tools, which will help them to survive in this pressured world. Now, the result of all of this coaching, play-based coaching, will not lead to perfection because perfection cannot be attained in this dunya. Perfection in this world is not there. But it will definitely lead to less anxiety, more emotional clarity, self-trust, calm, and resilient children. At the heart of kids' life coaching is something very, very simple. We don't take over their lives, we teach them how to lead it slowly, safely, step by step. Children themselves set small, realistic goals. They work on their emotional toolkits, understand their inner world, and take responsibility in age appropriate ways. And all of this is achieved through play. So if you attend these kids' sessions, if you look at them, you'd be like, it looks like a normal art and craft session. It looks like a normal, workshop. But the way it is designed and the impact it creates on the children, maybe not immediately, because change is definitely not overnight, but through guidance and through trust, they are able to bring these changes, and you will see your children applying them in their daily life. They just need those tools to be given to them. Most emotional struggles that children face are not because they feel too much, it's simply because they don't understand what they're feeling and they don't know what to do with it. So, this emotional coaching that we do with children is to name that, like I said, naming the emotions, recognizing the triggers, understanding the thought feeling link, and then how to respond instead of react. It's a complete chain. And all of us have a voice inside our head. Some of those voices are very encouraging, some are critical. We help children recognize those voices, name those voices, and replace the unhelpful thoughts with more balanced, compassionate ones. Because emotions don't come out of anywhere, they come from our inner dialogue, how you talk to yourself, how you are with yourself. And when thoughts will soften, emotions will flow. Now, what happens is because we are not, as parents, not very well informed or aware about this, we seek help or support when things reach a breaking point. As a kids' life coach, I encourage parents to work on this before you reach the breaking point or before any child has to reach that breaking point. Just like we teach children about hygiene, cleanliness, we don't wait for them to fall sick and then teach them all of this, right? We teach them to make it a part of their life. So, the same way we teach emotional skills before they are completely overwhelmed and reaching their breaking point. And this is not you overprotecting your children. You are actually preparing them intentionally, compassionately. Now, in Islam, also, our deen, what does our deen teach us? Our deen teaches us to nurture hearts. It doesn't tell us that we should raise children who always perform well. Quran repeatedly returns us to the qalb, the heart, the inner world where intentions, responses, and characters are formed. Self awareness, balance, emotional responsibility. Helping a child understand their inner world, their emotions, and reactions is all part of tarbiyah. It is part of nurturing character and part of caring for the heart as an amana. So, this work supports the child's ability to live with awareness, responsibility, and ihsan. So, I want to leave you all with one final thought. Many of us were never taught emotional language. We weren't taught how to name what we feel, how to express it safely, or how to regulate ourselves when emotions felt big. Most of us learned to cope by staying quiet, pushing through, or figuring it out much later in life. And now, as adults, most of us are doing that work. We are learning to understand ourselves, to communicate better, to heal ourselves, to grow, and to unlearn a lot of things. So, as we heal in this, we can guide. So, if this journey matters for us now, why would we wait to offer it to our children later on in life? Why not give them the language before the silence comes up? Give them the tools before overwhelm builds up. Support before coping becomes survival. None of our children need to be fixed. They don't need to be tougher, and they do not need to suppress what they feel. All our children need is guidance, language, play, and safe spaces to grow. Beyond academics, children need emotional coaching. And beyond words, children need play. So, when we empower our children early on with emotional tools and playful, supportive guidance, we're not just raising capable children, we raise grounded, resilient, emotionally safe human beings. So, today, as adults, a lot of us feel that we are not emotionally grounded adults, and we're learning how to be one. Let's teach this early on in life to our children. So, inshallah, we have our children more grounded as adults who enjoy their play, who enjoy growing up and have the tools to face the world. This is one of the best gifts as part of their tarbiyah that we can offer to our children. Thank you so much, all of you. Jazakallah khair for being here. And thank you for choosing to look beyond the grades towards the hearts you are nurturing every day. Jazakallah khair. We're now open for questions and feedback, inshallah.
Thank you very much, Farah. It was very fruitful. It served as a great reminder and reminded me of the fact that I once met a lady and she came and she's like, my son, he was far from, I think, the mid-adolescence, and he's like, he wants to play all the time. So I said, let him play. What's the trouble? No, his finals are coming. And I told her, what if I tell you that, playing football is as important as, working on physics or memorizing his notes? She was very startled. So I hope that we can bring the idea of play and emotion regulation back to our conversations, inshallah, to be able to raise adults who do not have to do or undo the parenting, if you will. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions in here? All right, assuming that Farah was very clear and articulate, which she always is. Thank you very much, Farah. I hope that inshallah we'll meet again soon with another topic. Meanwhile, people, please feel free to follow our social media on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, on YouTube. We will be announcing the launch of our new Islamically integrated life coaching batches on our social media, so keep an eye on our social media. Our next webinar will be with our amazing brother Farhan Kardame, and he will be talking about the alignment of body, mind, and soul. And that is going to be a very good exercise or a very good webinar that will help you prepare you for Ramadan, because that is going to be talking about the holistic path to success in dunya and akhirah. We'll be sharing the details on our social media, so please don't forget to follow us there, and please spread the khair. And inshallah, I will see you next week. Barakallahu feekum. Wa akhiru da'wana. And alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.